for this, and he actually his lineup is primarily focused on countering Reno Warlock as opposed to Reno Mage. It just like absolutely, yeah. I mean, it just absolutely farms Warlock. I watched him. The only times he ever lost to Reno Warlock in his prep was if his Cthulhu got dirty ratted, or his Aviana got dirty ratted, like in the Reno Mage game. It was pretty impressive, and you know, just having all the hard removal, being able to cycle, and also being able to, you know, mill your opponent with Cold Oracle's Naturalize is huge. So looking forward to seeing if Jowan can make it. The only player to bring that deck. It'd be cool to see him make it to that top 8, make it to the Bahamas. But we do have some you know, updates from around. Round 3 is actually just about finishing up. We do have some bonus coverage for you guys. We're going to jump into a match here shortly between Palmblad and Aqua. Here's Game 5 from that set. Keep in mind, this match has already completed. So some of you may know the result, but we want to give you guys just a nice feeling of completion for this match and let you guys see the game number 5 from this series, because it was a good one.
Yeah, and updates around the horn, as we mentioned. These two specifically had taken out, Aqua has faced Jimon and Zenith prior to this round, able to take out both, and Palmblad, Nukasaku, and Karakute, one of the Tavern heroes that made it through. So, you know, 2-0 records for these guys as they battle for that 3-0. 3-0 after 3 rounds of the 7-round Swiss is a very important number. 2 more matches to go in order to get there. So over the halfway point.
All right, well, let's get into it. It's Reno Warlock versus Reno Mage. And Aqua faced with a pretty cool decision here. Cabal, Shadow Priest can steal some minions, but Flamewaker can offer some explosive turns for a Reno Mage.
Yeah, I want to bring up a couple points in this matchup too. When you look at the lineups from these, Aqua running the Reno Mage does have that copy of Pyroblast. Super important to this build. And now granted, it's from that Babbling book, but point being is that is a very crucial tool. He doesn't actually have a copy of it in main deck, if I recall correctly, but now it's provided to him. It's such a crucial tool for beating Reno Warlock because the Mage typically runs out of gas in this matchup. Outside of Bran and Kazakus, there's not a ton of ways to really keep up. So having that window of opportunity created by Alex Straza and setting Palmblad at 15 and then following up with Inkmaster Pyroblast and then having another burn spell, very crucial way to his victory. But Palmblad's deck is very greedy for his Reno Warlock. He's got Leroy Jenkins' Faceless Manipulator combo. He's got a Mountain Giant in here. He's got Ragnaros. He's got Sylvanas. These are very heavy-hitting cards versus Aqua.
Yeah, the greedy versions tend to work pretty well against Reno Mage, but to give you guys a little bit of a background on Palmblad, he was one of sort of the founding fathers of Korean Hearthstone, all the way back to OGN Masters Season 1. So the Korean OGN Masters, it was the first league run by OGN way back in 2014, I think. He was a runner-up. Palmblad took 2nd place in that, and since then he's finished top 8 in Season 4 and Season 5. So he's been around forever, has consistent performances in Korea, but never really too many on the international stage or on the world stage. So again, one of those Korean players who's looking for a breakout performance. Now that we have more global play, it gives them more of an opportunity to prove themselves, and I think that's a really cool thing.
Yeah, I think it's a great thing for the Eastern scene as well. If you look at the players who are qualified for this list and you pay very close attention to competitive Hearthstone, these are guys who constantly are performing at the highest levels, like very consistent ladder finishes, very consistent results in tournaments throughout their career. It's not really much of a surprise to see them in a tournament like this and also to be performing.
Yeah, previously they had 1 chance a year to make it. You know, they had the chance to get to the World Championship, and that was it. That was their only chance to prove themselves on a world stage outside of Asia Pacific, outside of Korea. Now if he makes it to the Bahamas, or Spring Championship, or Winter Championship, he's going to have 4 chances to make it to compete on that world stage. So let's see if he can do it. And now we have, picks up a Mountain Giant, so that's a pretty big one.
Yeah, I mean, the Emperor is really the pretty big one here. He gets to discount Leroy Jenkins, which in order to get the entire combo of Leroy Jenkins, Power Overwhelming, and Faceless Manipulator, you only need to have Emperor Thorson touch 1 of those cards. He's got Mountain Giant in hand. He's got Abyssal Enforcer. He's got Siphon Soul. This Emperor is giving him sick tempo for the rest of this game. And now that he's touched Soulfire as well, it's 24 damage from hand is his maximum burst. So Aqua's got to piece together either a way to pressure Palmblad, or he's going to have to pick up a ton of stuff in order to defend himself against this. He still needs to find Ice Block. He'd love to have Ice Barrier down rolling into one of those Reno turns. He needs to draw cards and find value, but all that stuff requires mana, and that's something he seems to be light on right now.
Aqua, one of the 23 players playing from Japan. So a lot of Japanese representation here. Almost a third of the field is playing from Japan in these playoffs. So definitely a big step for them. We've actually seen quite a few successful Japanese players. We saw Kano in 2015. We saw Matsun, who in 2016 made it to the championship. Tatsuku made it into the last call last year as well. We've seen lots of Japanese players, and Japan has been a pretty driving force in a lot of other card games throughout the world.
Yes.
So it's only a matter of time before we see them start to dominate in Hearthstone as well.
Yeah, Gundam Flame really, I think the pick from there that is probably the strongest representative. I think that he has a fantastic mind for aggressive decks and when to turn up the heat and when to really back off from those situations as well. And he's bringing it to this tournament as well. He's got a full aggressive lineup. I like his chances.
Yeah. See if Aqua can join him at that 3-0 mark, if he could take this match. But it's going to be tough. You mentioned that Emperor Thorsten value is hard to overcome. Yeah. Palmblad picks up Ragnaros the Firelord, a 2-mana Mountain Giant. That's a 2-mana 8/8. That it has no overload attached to it.
I always like how people talk about Flame Wreath Faceless and the overpoweredness of a 4-mana 7/7, and then immediately talk about how they miss Handlock from the days of yore with the 4-mana 8/8s.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful.
Turns out those 4-mana 8/8s weren't preceded by
Tunnel
2-mana 3/4s. Yeah, I think that's wherein the problem.
I think a bigger story here is that Palmblad's getting double Emperor activations, and this is so huge for Palmblad. He actually may even tempt fate a little bit further and expend one of these resources to try to protect this Emperor further.
Why not?
That's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to coin out the second-rate Bruiser, and Aqua now in a heap of trouble. 2 Emperor activations is typically lights out.
And Flame Strike doesn't really challenge this board. The one thing he could Flame Strike and Forbidden Flame as a way to ping, but that doesn't clear off the Mountain Giant. So he either clears off the Mountain Giant with Polymorph, with the Emperor with Polymorph, or clears off a few things with Flame Strike and leaves the Mountain Giant up. There's no way here that Aqua can clean up the whole board. And then he has to worry about what's following this up.
I think a big plan of his was quite simply to draw Inkmaster Solia. I believe that's in his deck. So if his plan is to pick up Inkmaster Solia, playing the Kazakas actually makes a lot of sense, because that would mean he has that chance to pick up that card and have a huge swing with it. But outside of that, looking like it's pretty darn tough. I think that killing that Emperor could have potentially been very wise, but that opportunity's gone.
Yeah. And now he's in...
There's actually no Inkmaster Solia in his list, so that was not even a potential possibility. So
10-mana Potion is very bold. I mean, I guess he was only staring at an Emperor Thorsten at that stage.
Only.
He was only staring at a 5/5 that draws 4 Innervates each turn.
Yeah. And Emperor going to stick around for a 3rd turn.
Why don't you add Abyssal Enforcer to the Leroy combo? Let's go ahead and do that. It's almost there.
Yeah, I mean, pretty soon we'll be able to add Ragnaros to it as well. And Palmblad's counting damage here. And
how much damage is it? We have 8 on board, plus 4, 12, Ragnaros. That's lethal. That's 30 damage.
He doesn't have quite the mana for it.
Oh, he's at 8 mana.
Yeah.
I said lethal damage.
I'll tell you what, though. Ragnaros is by far one of the heaviest hitting cards versus Reno Mage. It requires attention instantly because there's no chance for it to be frozen. It threatens to get value. It pressures Aqua to a low life total. I mean, this card does it all versus Reno Mage. And even with Ice Block picked up, this will buy him another turn, but losing your Ice Block in the process and still not handling Emperor Thorson.
I got a little ahead of myself. I got so excited. It's not often
the Innervates are applied equally across your cards is the key to the Emperor Thorson activations.
The more you know. This is still pretty lights out, though.
Yeah, just a casual 4th Emperor activation.
The one thing he has to worry about, no, he doesn't even have to worry about burst.
Now, that would be some consideration, though. Say he chooses to life tap in this situation, and I guess the next question is Ice Lance in Aqua's build? So if Ice Lance is in there, there is consideration for like maybe a weird combination of Pyroblast and Frostbolt Ice Lance, but that's not even in the deck for Aqua either. So I can't think of a situation where Palmblad really dies to a combination of burn spells in the next 2 turns.
Yeah, it's not really happening. If he Siphon Souls this turn, he goes back up to 20. He was hoping for something big. Architect Tinnitus, Alex Strauss perhaps. Gets a Burgundy Blade, so he's going to give him a coin. You know,
It could end up trading in to forego that.
Then
but
he doesn't pop the block.
That's exactly what I'm thinking, too.
I think he just pops the block, sucks it up, gives him a coin, and Siphon Souls. Yeah. I mean, you're winning this game 99.9% of the time.
The other benefit of Emperor living this long is that it just gets to attack for 5. So not handling it has also cost him 20 points of life.
That is a 1 mana Leroy Jenkins and a 3 mana Abyssal Enforcer. He could Leroy, Faceless Manipulator,
Yeah, I mean, this is a
then
search
kill
for-
off of his own minions with Abyssal Enforcer, and then Soulfire. For lethal from 1, and Aqua taps out, concedes. Palmblad goes up 3-0 in the Asia Pacific playoffs. Wow, what very impressive performance for this guy who's been in the scene for so long.
Yeah, this is the kinds of things you expect is players who consistently perform over the time are the ones to watch out for. You certainly want to keep your eye on players who are winning championships. But if a guy's been in that top 8 and he's been at the heights of competition time and time again, those are the tested players who have proven themselves over and over. They're the ones to truly keep your eye on.
Yeah, well, we will keep an eye on him throughout the rest of the broadcast today, the West of the Swiss rounds. But now that we're coming to a close with round number 3, let's once again check in with Dan and his wolf jacket, as well as Kibler and his...
Wolf jacket?
Not wolf jacket.
Oh.
Wolf spirit.
I guess there is no wolves
Something
on
like
there. It makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
It made sense in my head, trust me. Like so many things we want to say. Let's go ahead and bring up the leaderboard of who is currently undefeated. As you guys saw, Palmblad along with Yulsik be able to go 3-0 this round, and Joan, of course. But we do want to give a very special shout out to one player named Rojim, who you saw him from the last call in 2016. He made it to the top 4, and he is playing that very unusual lineup of Control Warrior, mid-range Warlock, and a mid-range Paladin, the only Paladin in the tournament, and he's undefeated.
Yeah, our researcher who actually put together all the deck lists for us literally wrote Pogchip on his deck list.
With a bunch of question marks.
Because he's playing, mid-range Warlock, not Reno Lock, not Zoo, mid-range Warlock and mid-range Paladin.
Yes.
So I really want to see these decks in action
Yeah.
because I don't even know what to think.
Yeah, he's actually playing
He's 3-0.
Palmblad in round number 4. I believe the pairings are done, which is really exciting because, I was talking about this with Admirable last night, and we're saying, can this guy actually do it? He's targeting every single aggro deck. His mid-range Paladin, mid-range Warlock, they're all anti-aggro. It's like double ooze. He's got like every single anti-aggro card, like 2 humilities with Pyromancer and all these clears. I tried playing this deck with Admirable last night. We queued up for a couple hours, really just trying to and we just kept losing and losing. And I'm like, dude, I really wanted someone who brings a creative lineup to be able to do well, and I was so afraid of it. But he's doing it, man. And he's also joined by a few other players, Tom60229, Gundam Flame, and Pimping House, some of these players that you're very familiar with. Here's a couple of other notable players that we're keeping an eye on. We mentioned Surrender and Handsome Guy, but it looks like a couple of these players are really struggling here, Brian.
Yeah, unfortunately for Kranich, 0-3, so he is completely out of contention for pretty much anything in this. Naviute staying alive at 2-1, Chonger as well, 2-1.
All right, well, round 4 is about to begin in a couple of moments. Can't wait to see what's going to happen. We are just under halfway point for day number 1, so let's go over to the main set and get ready for the next round